Good morning, everybody. I'm waiting for the video to catch up. Oh, look, I have a helper here with me today. Someone is home from school with a bellyache. Um, so my little assistant is here to help me today. So good morning. It is Monday morning. It is 5 past 11. It is crisp and freezing cold this morning. Um, and it was, if you were here, we got sort of inundated with snow on Saturday, and we had to dig ourselves out on Sunday. Although I was about to go out and shovel, and one of my neighbors again snow plowed behind my driveway, my garage. I mean, my plow does the driveway and the parking lot where we all live. I live in a townhouse complex, but we always have to shovel out our like individual garage and the walkway. But my neighbor did it for me. Not only did they do that, they plowed out a path for us to put our barrels out tonight. And I just was so grateful when I went out there yesterday morning and I didn't have to shovel. I was so grateful. There were tears in my eyes. It was kind of exciting actually. So did you survive the storm? How did you manage? How did you fare? We didn't even lose power. It was really sort of, as storms go, fantastic because we got to be inside the whole day and kind of putter and do our thing. And at one point we went outside. Lily was trying to brave the elements, and I was like, it's so cold. We didn't last very long, but it was fun. It was good. So how did you fare? How did you manage? If you're joining us, say good morning. Hi, how are you? Let me know who you are and that you're watching. Um, and so it's Mondays with Robin, and I do have my assistant left. I think she got bored. My little one is here with me this morning. She had I don't know if it's a stomach bug or what she has, but she's been having like some real stomach pains for a couple of days. And I don't think it's a somatization of anxiety. I usually can tell when that is. I actually think she's legitimately sick today. So we'll see. I was hoping she'd be able to go to school later, but it doesn't look that way. She looks a little pale and wan. Um, so anyway, happy Monday. How are you? Hi, Donna. Good morning. Thank you for checking in. It was funny. I was sitting and thinking about what it is that we wanted to talk about today. And I asked my guides for guidance, and I've had in my head, I don't know if you've seen it, the movie Encanto. It's a Disney movie, and it is brilliant. It is brilliant. Lin-Manuel Miranda did the lyrics and I think some of the book for it. It's fantastic. And then, so when I asked what did we want to talk about today, that's what came up. And so I was like, okay. What actually came up was I heard a couple of the different songs from the show from the movie in my head, and so I said, okay. And the overarching sort of theme of the movie is um, the idea of sort of this perfectionism, and that the only way the family is safe or okay is if everybody does things 100% perfectly. And I mean, it's a Disney movie, but it's the story of a family that had they were bestowed a miracle. They were bestowed a miracle that allowed them to um, escape a terrible fate, and also to grow this amazing village around them so that they could always be safe and protected. And so then the mother, the matriarch of the family, then has children and grandchildren all, and they all are born with a gift. They're all born with this special, amazing, magical power in order to preserve the miracle. And then one day, one of the grandchildren, Mirabelle, is born, and she doesn't. And when they're 5, they're supposed to get their gift, and Mirabelle didn't get a gift. So now it's a big deal, big problem. Mirabelle is the only one in her family who didn't get a gift, and the grandmother is worried about the miracle and worried about protecting the magic, and she's very much about appearances and saying that the family madrigal is safe and the magic is okay, and she's constantly trying to reassure the villagers who've come to rely on their magic. So it's a really, again, brilliant story, fantastically colorful, and I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, I don't know, but it seems like they did a pretty good job of having it be um, in an indigenous people in Colombia, and it feels like they got, they got it right. I think I've read that a couple of times. But the music, like I said, it's Lin-Manuel Miranda as the lyrics and music, and they're fast paced, and the dialogue is excellent. And it's all about this family that's trying really, really, really hard to be perfect in the face of knowing that one of their own didn't get a gift. So there's like this like underlying feeling of like Mirabelle, there's something wrong with Mirabelle because she doesn't have a gift that everybody else has, and she feels bad, and the family kind of pretends not to feel bad, but they feel bad, and the grandmother kind of judges her a little bit but pretends not to judge her. So this is the whole thing. It's actually fascinating. It's a fascinating sort of study of families and the underlying rules in families, and how like what gets unsaid, and the just sort of unwritten rules in family life, and it's so brilliant. And it's Disney, so ultimately it has a happy ending, but it really brings up some really interesting conversations about family, right? And especially a family where there's magic abound, and you don't have magic, so can you fit in? Can you be accepted as is? And Mirabelle tries so hard to just fit in, and she never really does. So anyway, it's so powerful. It's such a good movie. But anyway, there's a song in the middle of the movie, and if you've seen anything about pop culture, this movie is sort of taken things by storm. It's going. One of the songs in the movie has surpassed Frozen in terms of Disney's all-time best-selling songs. So one of the songs in the show is about, it's called Surface Pressure, and the strong one talks about this song about like, listen, I feel worthless if I'm not of service. So I obviously related to this, and I was like, I know that feeling. I know that feeling of being 100% worthless unless you're being of service to someone else. And so she does it in such a way that's like, you know, wouldn't it be beautiful if I could just for a minute have relaxation and joy and peace, and not have to feel this pressure? But ultimately there's no mistakes, no breaks, just pressure that'll never stop. Yeah, and then there's another song so there's the strong sister and the perfect sister. Perfect sister makes flowers and beautiful, and everything is perfect, and everything is absolutely perfect and beautiful, and she's not allowed to make a mistake. Again, there's this perfectionism expectation that she's the perfect sister. So there's the strong sister, then there's the perfect sister, and then there's Mirabelle, who is neither strong nor perfect, and in fact flawed entirely. So Mirabelle has resentment for her two sisters, and the perfect sister says, because of you I have to always be this perfect one, and I can't mess up, and all this stuff. So it's a and then immediately after Louisa's song about being the strong one, and I'm the strong one, and I have to hold everything together. Louisa sings this song about, Mirabelle tries to get her to come to terms with, and she grows this like ugly flower, and she's like, what else could I grow? Imagine if I was allowed to grow what I wanted to grow in the moment instead of always having to be perfect. And these two songs, then there's a song about a brother they don't talk about at all. We don't talk about Bruno. Like the whole thing is like I said, it's about perfection and anxiety and hiding the truth and not being allowed to speak the truth. The brother they don't talk about, he could speak the future, and so they don't talk about Bruno because Bruno screws things up, and Bruno tells you things and then you don't want to hear them, and then they come true, and who knows, did it come true because you believed it or because Bruno said it in the first place? But we don't talk about Bruno, right? So the uncle, the brother, gets kicked out of the family essentially because he wasn't perfect. And so then Mirabelle goes on a quest to find it. It's delightful. Do yourselves a favor, watch Encanto. But but what's very cool is this is a pretty these are very adult themes, but they're also universal themes. They're also complex, and kids can relate to these things. Maybe they don't understand it to the depth that maybe you and I do, but I can tell you that my kid does. We talked about it. We talked about that perfectionism. We talked about how hard it is to try to be so perfect all the time, and that sometimes that's not ideal and it takes you out of being able to enjoy things. So it's a really neat thing that, I mean, Disney has done some really cool things in the past few years, tackling some pretty powerful concepts. They did the movie Soul, which talks about having a soul and a purpose and the afterlife and choosing to incarnate, all of those things. So they tackled that. The movie Inside Out is all about how your thoughts and your feelings run your brain, and how sometimes our feelings are joy, and sometimes they're sadness, and we need both in order to function. Um, it's just, there's been some, Disney's done some really cool things. Um, Whatever you feel about Disney, whatever you want to say about the I don't conglomerate, all that stuff, capitalist, whatever, they've tackled some really neat concepts. I watched a movie at Christmas time with Lily where not only was it a Latina family, but it was a blended family. The mom and the dad were divorced, and the dad was engaged to another woman, and that woman came to Christmas with the dad and the other family, and then the uncle was married to a man. It was like it was they did like inclusivity was all over the place in this movie. And it was a made-for-TV movie. It was a Disney movie, but it was wicked cute. And they had a black Santa, right? Like, so it's like it's I, I, they're doing a lot in order to sort of further the narrative, and there's some conscious people at Disney, you can tell. But so the movie Encanto talks about perfection and talks about the underlying rules and talks about the secrets that we keep. Like, everybody knows that the magic is starting to fail a little bit, but Abuela is trying to keep the face of things so that people don't know that the magic isn't failing a little bit, and she gets mad at people when they speak the truth about the magic is failing and all of these things. And ultimately it has a happy Disney ending, and Mirabelle finds her gift at the end, and it's beautiful. But it was really cool to see Disney tackle something so profound, so prevalent, so powerful that, like, we all can relate to not fitting in with our families, and trying really hard to be something that you're not in order to fit in with your family. I mean, how many of you can relate to that? I would bet every single one of us at one point has tried really hard to be something we're not, expressly so that we could fit in the family, expressly so that we would be accepted. I'm doing a series right now of archetype lectures, and I'm smack in the middle of the survival archetypes, which is how we basically how our energy runs, and all the different defenses we created so that we won't feel the pain of exclusion, so that we won't feel the pain of not fitting in, and not being enough as is, or okay. And so, the child energy is what we're born with, and then immediately right behind it you have the saboteur energy, which is a protector. And the saboteur will sabotage. They'll either keep ourselves out of relationship, or blow it up, or create havoc, or chaos, or not speak, or not take action, or not do, or tell us we're wrong or bad for feeling the way we do, and shut our emotions down. The saboteur can be any number of things, but it's designed to protect the child. And so then, so if I use the movie Encanto, Bruno loves his family, but he can't stop being who he is, and so he gets kicked out of his family for doing it. And Mirabelle, same thing. She tries really hard to help and be helpful, and by being helpful, she messes things up a lot. But it's always in service of trying to be who she's not. And then you have the victim and the prostitute. Those videos are coming out shortly, one today and one tomorrow actually. But each of these survival archetypes is present in this Encanto movie, and so it's like I said, it's such a cool way to look at families and dynamics and perfectionism and anxiety and pretending that everything's okay. How many people in society right now are just trying to pretend that things okay and we can't. We can't pretend anymore that everything's okay. There's so much. They're banning books like I can't even wrap my head around the fact that they banned a book over the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they banned a graphic novel. This is like a Pulitzer Prize winning amazing graphic novel. Yes, it's told from the perspective of a mouse family, but it's basically a graphic novel autobiographical version of the real life events of a family that escaped Germany and escaped the concentration camps. It's powerful. Yeah, it's graphic, absolutely. And I up until this weekend I had never even heard of it, but I'm going to make it a point to read it now because it's been banned, right? Like there's so much that's like people are trying to sort of legislate and regulate history as if it didn't happen, as if it wasn't. There are some terrible things in history, and I think if we whitewash them, and I use that term expressly because of the way it's meant, I think if we try to pretend they don't exist, that's what's creating the cracks in the foundation, right? Like that's what is the problem, is pretending that there aren't real fundamental problems in the society that we live in. I think if we could address, like shadow work, if you can address it, it's no longer running your life. But when you try to pretend it doesn't exist and you shove it down and you shunt it away and you put it aside, that's what creates shadow. And shadow, because it's unconscious, because it's hidden, because it can't survive in the light, shadow is the thing that creates all this destruction and it creates all the things, the broken systems and the flaws and the cracks that ultimately, if we don't pay attention, can bring the whole house down around us. So So, what I wanted to say today about this is, where are the places that you're still pretending something doesn't exist? Where are you still trying to put up appearances, and where are you still trying to smooth over the cracks in the foundation? Wouldn't it feel great to let it all out? Wouldn't it feel a relief to be able to look at the painful places? And yes, they're painful, but what if you could look at them with a compassionate space and really start to heal them? What if that's what's the what we're being asked of right now? And it is what we're being asked to do right now, is to look at the places that no longer serve us and come to terms with how those patterns got created. That's why I'm doing the survival archetype series, and also how we grow from it. I say all the time that nothing ever happened to you, it only ever happened for you. Yes, there are painful places, but we can, and we're being asked to heal those places. So, I invite you wholeheartedly to watch the movie Encanto and let me know what you think. I'm deeply curious about your ideas on it. I do have a Ho'oponopono class, which is Ho'oponopono is all about to make whole, to correct. That's the point of Ho'oponopono. It's like, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. These are the phrases that like you can take ownership for and clear out everything that's broken. And it all because it's all only a reflection of you. So I have a Ho'oponopono class on March 2nd. It's a Wednesday, 7:30 to 9. please join us for that. The it's on my website, and I have a sign up sheet which I'll post underneath here. I have an archetype class. I have an archetype master class where if archetypes, or if these videos that I'm doing are calling to you, and you want to know how you tick and how you operate and what you do, we're gonna figure out your four survival archetypes, and then we're going to figure out the remaining eight, because everybody has 12, right? So it'll be a huge roadmap into how you operate, and it's you'll go on a quest to find yourself, and the archetypes are the link home. I sort of did a playoff on Zelda. If you ever played Zelda, my graphics and stuff, my amazing friend Michelle did this really cool thing with it looks just like the video game. So we're going on a quest to find Zelda. And Zelda is us. So that's the archetype class on March 6th. I sent out a newsletter last week. And a couple of you asked me to send it. So if you didn't get it, let me know. I will resend it to you guys. And stay tuned. I've got a lot of stuff. The YouTube channel is up and running. Instagram, if you're not following Phoenix Rising Healings on Instagram, go do that. And I will be back in touch with you tomorrow. And also, I've got like a couple of stuff coming out, a bunch of stuff that's coming out. There's more videos this week. I'm going to finish up the survival archetypes, and then I have a couple of others that I did a video on. If there's any archetype that you want me to touch on, it's something that you're interested in, let me know, and I'll do that, because I'm going to be doing these for a little couple weeks anyway. That's all I got. If you joined us, thank you. Thank you for watching. And if you say hi, let me know. If you're watching a replay, let me know that too. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, anything you're curious about, let me know, and we will continue to do this until it no longer serves. I love you. Have a wonderful day. Happy Monday.